Hi, this is Louise and welcome to Minimal FI. Today we're going to talk about the 4% rule. So if you've been following any of the sort of FI or FIRE community, you'll hear them talk about the 4% rule all the time. The way they came up with this calculation, that is to have a budget. So if you haven't done a budget, I would recommend you do one now and sort of start backdating it to see where you're at, what your income is and what your outgoings are. There's lots of different types all on the internet if you want to have a look. I just use a spreadsheet in Excel, and then with that I can use calculations like what my percentage is that I'm saving every month. Once you've come up with your idea of how much money you spend, then you need to think about, when do I want to actually be financially independent? You know, is it in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? And then come up with what your costs will be then, because it's going to be quite different. Like for my husband and I, our children are going to be all grown up. They'll be in their mid-20s and they will hopefully have moved out and started their own lives. So our costs are going to be a lot cheaper than they are now, even though we're going to have inflation on top of that. Then how extravagant you want your lifestyle to be, you know, make sure you book aside for holidays or things like that. Then once you have your number, you times it by 25 and that will come up with your FIRE number. I ended up adding an extra 20% on to cover inflation. So once hypothetically you have all your money in your investments and bonds, superannuation and things like that, what it comes down to is you take 4% every year to live off. And that normally works out to whatever your calculation would be, whether it's 50,000, 80,000, 120,000 every year. The theory is that with investments, we kind of sit around an average of 8% every year. This year has got us down at 12%, but there will be years where it's a lot lower. So we're looking at the average. So with that 8%, 4% is going to be your spending money. 3% will be inflation, and then the additional 1% you leave in there to continue your wealth. With this sort of theory, you shouldn't run out of money. I think there's a very small chance that you could spend all your money, and there's also a very small chance that you could double or triple your money by the time you die, I suppose. And that's so, but you know, I think most people are pretty smart, and if you get to that stage in your life, you're going to understand money. And if you get to a certain number that's too low, what's the worst thing that happens? You go back to work. That's what you would have been doing anyway. So there's a couple of really good websites that you can go to. Mr. Money Mustache, who's a good one, which I will link below, and that will kind of put out on what your saving percentage is and how many years it will take for you to get to FIRE. It's okay. It's not perfect because it really has you based it if you started at zero. And unless you've just left school, most people will have some form of savings or investment. And if you don't, or you're even in a negative, then that's okay. That does give you a good base and a place to start. Another website which I use, which is really good, is interest.co.nz. I will link that below. They've got quite a few calculators that you can use. One of them is a mortgage calculator, and that's quite handy. They've got two calculators side by side. So you can pop your mortgages in both and then even see, oh, if I add an extra $50 a week or whatever, how much that saves me. You know, how long will it take me to pay it off? Another calculation that they've got there is the investment. So you can put in how much money you have now in investment, what you think the saving rate will be or saving percentage, what you think the interest rate will be. I always put it down at 6% because I like to err on the side of caution, because you know you can always do better, but you might as well look at worst case scenario. And then you put down how much money you are investing every week or month or whatever, and that will work out how much you will have in a certain amount of years. You can shuffle it around to find out how many years it will take you to get to a certain amount or whatever. Have a look. You'll figure it out. It's pretty basic. Yeah, so have a look at those. Do your budget. If you do see this, sit down and do a budget and work out your fire number. That's a really good basis, and it gives you a place to start from, a good stepping stone as well. So thank you for watching. Please check out my first video. This is my second video. Hopefully there is a slight improvement, and do subscribe and follow along to see how we go, and we can motivate each other in this journey to get to financial independence. Have a great day.